Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Vibrant Moves. I'm Karen.
And I'm Vere.
And we're here in the stew.
We're here in this stew for one last time.
This is the last time we're going to be in this location. Oh, wait.
Bitch, your makeup looks good.
Yeah?
We've been running around trying to make sure everything is set right and then we're on time. Mm-hmm. I've been kind of lagging on that part, but
You're getting better.
I am getting better, but I hadn't actually sat down to
with the studio lights?
Yeah, with this good lighting, and I'm seeing the blends. I'm seeing okay browns.
Yes, because I've been upgrading my base routine. I feel something really cool about makeup is that you never stop learning because there's always going to be new products, and then you kind of you need to experiment with how they lay on your body and stuff. I'm in my makeup era for real. I'm actually really currently posting my makeup. I've always loved it and experimented, and I feel like I'm actually going through the opposite of you right now, where instead of experimenting, I'm like, wait, this looks really good, I need to recreate it. And I don't really like to recreate my makeup looks, but recently I have, so. And
as you should.
Check out the bling. I'm like, we have 3 cameras today. I don't know where to look.
No, that was I love that she's sharing all these tutorials because I know she'll show me in person every now and then when I'm having my little panic attack that things are not working out the way I want them to. She's like, no, just do it like this or do this, do that.
Take a deep breath. Yeah.
She does this in person and she's also doing it in her videos. So sometimes when I'm in the middle of a panic, I'm like, wait, no, she posted something the other day. Let me go look at it. I'm like, oh, she's talking to me. Okay, I could do this. I'm
in my makeup era, guys. Don't forget.
Go watch them. Go watch those videos if you're trying to experiment.
Also, can I say that thank you so much to everyone that has watched our first episode, commented, shared. I think my favorite are the ones where they say that we're being relatable, because I'm like, oh, that's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
It's not until you start talking to your friends that you're like, wait, we suffered we're suffering the same things. What?
And one thing that I really love to hear, the fact that it was relatable on so many fronts, but also that, again, I'm reminded how much that everybody, so many people that skate, how much skating brought us all together and how many people were looking for actual friendships because they felt lonely themselves. We are, I feel like a lot of us feel those lonely moments and we think we're genuinely alone, but we're all feeling lonely together. So why don't
It's capitalism.
Yeah.
It's always capitalism.
Fuck capitalism. Let's just be friends, but don't be a dick, because then I don't want to be your friend. Which brings us to today's episode.
Today's episode topic. What is it? It's not even that cheerful. We need a dark, gloomy one, like a dun 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 dun. Yeah.
Yeah, because today's topic isn't that fun, but we did say we were going to talk about it, and it's relating to last time, but just kind of continuing it on. So it'll be about friendship breakups.
Friendship breakups.
We don't like them. Nobody likes them. They're awful.
It's a tough topic, and a lot of the times, I think sometimes they hurt more than a romantic breakup.
Yes, 100%.
And it's just it's the same but different.
Well, and I feel like a lot of the times the reason why they hurt or they can hurt so much more than a romantic breakup is because a lot of the times those friends, they've been your friends for how many years? Sometimes since childhood. And these are people that you used to joke around, oh, when we grow old together, you're gonna live down the block with your partner and I'll live with mine. You make those plans because a lot of the times those friendships feel like they're a lot more permanent than certain romantic relationships, especially in your early 20s. Your friends tend to be the one constant. At least they can be until shit happens.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a really tough topic that everyone has gone through, whether it was on purpose or not, and we kind of just don't talk about it. It's more common to be to talk about relationship breakups because it's obvious. It's a huge change. I think more of a public change that happens. If your friends knew or you're posting your partner, and then all of a sudden you don't, and you're posting all these sad stuff. It's oh, they broke up, you know.
That's
but
true.
with a friendship breakup, it's more slowly and just kind of like, ooh.
Yeah, you start catching all the clues. Well, and I also think the reason why it can't always be as obvious or as noticeable is because we all have different levels of friendships. Where like when you have a romantic partner, like that's your boo thing, like you're gonna be with them all the time. Whereas when like with you, like we are really great friends, but like do I see you all the time? No, we fucking live far as fuck.
I know.
but like we still see each other. We make that time for each other. And where like this means I could very easily like we could fall apart and people wouldn't know. They'd be like, oh, it's just they've been living far away. So I feel like that might be another factor why like friendship breakups can be like a little gray zone. Like you can see some people right away breaking up. She wants to sit on the couch.
Come here.
Lucia wants to sit on the couch. Yeah, so I just think it's depending on the level of closeness, and as we get older, because we're adulting, so we're so busy doing all these different things, the breakups can look very different. So sometimes it'll like, and we were talking about that, like it could be an accidental ghost,
yes,
or a very on purpose, like very intentional.
That is not my favorite, and I will get into that.
Yeah, and I'm not proud of it, but I've been the ghoster, but I've also been ghosted. So, karma got me back. Don't worry. So,
if you guys don't know, we are a little older. We are not in our early 20s. We are in the late ones. Late 20s. I'm 28.
I'm 29.
Last year of 20s, baby.
Yo.
We got to turn up.
Not at the club, though.
So, once your brain fully develops, which is at the age of 25, 26, you start like really like thinking back on your life. For me personally, I felt it more when I was 26 because that was when I moved out to my own apartment, and I just had like a lot of time to really think about it. I did have a falling out with my best friend, which also like had me thinking. I also like reached out to past friends that I felt like I was not the most respectful. When you're younger, things are more
black and white,
serious, and I feel like when I was 26 a couple years ago, I started really thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, it was never that serious, but it was everything to me then.
100%. So I was telling you earlier, I also had a falling out story because like we've been talking about friendship breakups for a while, and we want to make sure we tell you guys the condensed or more concise version of it. So I've been thinking about these breakups, and I remember I had a really big falling out in my early 20s, and I genuinely thought it was like the end of the world. Like I was, my stomach was in knots. I was crying. Like it was a lot. And then I also told you that luckily things did get better because she was the bigger person and reached out to me and was willing to talk it out, and we did. But it felt like such a big deal because at that point in time in my life, in my early 20s, my friends were my world. Most of my time I lived with my friends. Like my friends were my roommates, so me too. That was my whole life. And like
yours was in college though, right?
Yeah, mine was in college. Yeah. But yeah, they were all my roommates. Whereas like now in my later time, in my later 20s, I have had some falling outs, and they didn't feel as drastic. Don't get me wrong, they still hurt a lot.
Yeah, but it's just not that serious.
But it's not that serious, and I realized, you know what, like we grew out of each other's lives, and like if that person isn't meant to be in my life and they're not going to help me enrich my own life, and I'm not helping them enrich their own life, then why are we going to be toxic towards one another? Just let it go.
Yeah,
it sucks. But you just gotta let it go.
Yeah, you start realizing that sometimes some people are temporary. Some people are only here to like teach you a lesson to like big time. And even though you want to like in your heart of hearts just be like the bestest friend to everyone, it's not realistic, And then you find out that like some people you would like take a bullet for and they wouldn't even like give you a piece of gum.
And to them, you're their frenemy. Because I've had that before. Yeah. Where they're like, you genuinely think your guys are friends, and then they're low-key preying on your downfall. They've been a
hater this whole time.
They're just, the reason they're around you is because they want to keep tabs on you and want to see what you're doing and like how they can be more successful than you. And that's something that I realized in my later 20s.
Yes.
That I I started to become more aware of these frenemies. Because, like,
frenemies.
they're frenemies.
Yeah.
Like, they're people who pretend to be your friend and who'll be really nice to you, but literally just to keep tabs on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I catch this from, there's a lot of little different things that we've talked about that you can catch when, like, people are, like, not really your friend, but they're claiming to be. I started becoming more aware of it, and I've started to actively try to cut those people out of my life and not give them full access to me. Yeah. Because who, like, if you're not gonna be,
what is it? I still want to see you eat, just not at my table.
Yeah, seriously, with the pan. Like, there's no need. I don't need that kind of shit in my life. Like, if we're not enriching each other's lives, and if we're not aligning of your behavior, if I keep seeing all these toxic patterns, as much as I love someone, if you love someone so much and you keep seeing them just self-destruct, that's gonna hurt you.
Yeah, it's hard to tell too sometimes, like, because you're like, that was a little. Until they hit you with the last straw and you're like, you know what, I'm done.
But the being in the later 20s has definitely helped, having that full frontal cortex developed.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious. And then again, you're able to see the facade that some people will put. So like, for me, that's been like a big thing where, like, yes, it's not that serious, but also it's serious enough to where I'm noticing. And if you're not here for my, like, to cheer me on and be my friend, then I don't want to keep investing in you, because this is another thing
that drains you.
That drains you. And if you're investing yourself in someone else that que no te va a dar nada, like, you're nothing that is coming out of it, that means you're losing out on opportunities where you could be investing on someone else who will be reciprocating. You want that reciprocation. You, like, as we grow older, you want people who will meet you halfway. And I mean, realistically in life, we're not always going to be able to meet each other halfway because life. But the fact that you see that people are willing to put in that effort.
Like, I had a friend who I thought they were, like, on my team and all this stuff, you know, but it's like some people want to see you, like, do good but not better than them. And the second you start kind of, like, doing a little bit better than them, or you get something that they wanted, then they, like, turn cold on you.
So your frenemies. That's a frenemy,
bro. And this one, to me, I think it happened, like, right on my 26th birthday that I decided to cut this person off, because not to get too into it, but I am so big on birthdays. Like, some people don't care about birthdays, and that's fine, but me personally, like, I really care about birthdays. I love astrology.
And let me just insert on that. She's made it vocal to her friends that she cares about her birthday. Like, that's also an important...
It's not a secret,
like,
guys.
It's an important little note, you know? Okay, so continue. Yes, you're into astrology. You love your birthday.
Yes.
You care about it.
And, like, I will remember people's birthdays, or at least their sign. Or it's like, if I know that we're in Taurus season.
By the way.
If I'm like, wait, you're Taurus? Oh, happy birthday. Like, did it already happen or whatever? I don't know. Anyways, I love birthdays.
Yeah.
And this person on my birthday, clearly, like, I was posting, like, they saw that it was my birthday, and they didn't tell me happy birthday. And I was so close to them, and I was like, okay, well, like, maybe later. But then that same week, when it came to, we were going to work on something together that would, like, benefit both of us, all of a sudden, they really wanted to hang out with me and do all this stuff. And I was like, I just want to let you know that I don't feel appreciated by you or cared for, and I don't like how you're treating me. And then they got defensive, being like, well, it's not a big deal. And I was like, it is a big deal to me, and I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry.
And again, the reason for me, when I hear all of this, I'm appalled, because...
That wasn't the only reason, though. Like, that was my last straw. There was a lot of, like, hints that she was a friend of me, but I ignored them because I like to give people the benefit of the doubt until my brain developed. Don't try me.
No, but seriously, because I was about to say the same thing. I used to give people so many chances because I would see those red flags, and you're like, no, I see all this potential. I want to see the best of them. And that potential. And you know what sucks, and what I've learned is that potential you're seeing in them is all your, like, what you have just being reflected back at you.
That's true.
It's all your own creativity, all your ideas that where you see that they could be doing, but, like, that's on you. Like, so, like, again, the brain developing helps so much. Like, when you're, like, once you're past those mid-20s, it's made a huge deal.
So if you are under 25 and you're going through things and you think the world is gonna end, trust me, it gets better. Just let that brain cook, a few more years.
Let that brain
well
cook.
done.
And if you're noticing these red flags and you are in like under 25 and 26, please don't ignore them.
Yeah.
Let go of that friendship because it'll help you make better friendships. It'll open up the space for you to actually make the real connections that are waiting for you. Because that was another thing for me. Like the times that I finally have let go of those toxic frenemies specifically, where because I could feel it. You can feel it. Yeah. At least I know I can. When I've let go of them, I end up falling into different friendships where the people genuinely care about me. And again, that's all I care about. Realistically, I'm just looking for genuine connections where people will reciprocate what I'm willing to give to them. And if that's not what I'm gonna find in the person, then pues a chingarle. Like,
I actually noticed that with you when we were first like kicking it, because like I mentioned you, I like knew nothing about you, and then we started talking. We're like, wait, I have like all these similarities. And I was like, okay, let's hang out. And then you like would come through and like do like something else, like I don't know, just like really be there for me and like do what you were gonna say.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, this is so different because I had just like let go of a couple friends that like I wasn't feeling it, or I was just like looking for more like friendships with depth and like the same values type of vibes. And I was like, okay, I like you, I'm keeping you.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I felt too, because like I've told you, I was so apprehensive, and then I'm like, wait, okay, it's not just a TV persona. Like, it's not just a persona for you guys. She's real. Like, she's real. It's not a persona, and that's always been my biggest thing. And I wanted someone who would reciprocate, and I noticed that with you, you weren't just putting a facade on for the cameras. Like, no, you were looking for genuine connections, as most of us are. So like, hit us up.
Yeah, because then people move, things change. Like, don't be afraid to make new friends, even like if you love the ones that you already have, because you never know, you know.
I mean, and if you love the ones you have, just make, like we said before, keep nurturing those relationships so they don't
forget about them.
Yeah, don't forget about them, because I mean, you want to nurture what is actually going to help you grow as a person. Don't water the weeds, I guess. I don't even know how to say that or like make it make sense.
Okay, so what, like when it comes to ending friendships, what hurts more, ghosting or breaking up and like having an argument, or not argument, like a conversation being like, this is why it's not working out? Because I have had both, and it's just different. Like,
I think it entirely depends on where you stand in the relationship, because like relationships are two ways, right? And then sometimes even though like my relationship with you, just as an example, this is not true, but I could like love you, right? And you could be like, yeah, whatever, you're like a good, like close acquaintance, but that's about it. So if you were to ghost me, that would feel like awful for me, right? In this scenario. But if I were to ghost you, you'd be like, oh, I haven't seen that acquaintance girl in a while, whatever. Like, like, oh, I hope she's okay, whatever. Like, you probably wouldn't even notice. So I think understanding the level of connection and severity of connection when the relationships is a big factor. Yeah.
And like what hurts more, like ghosting or not? Because if you've known someone for a long time, me personally, I feel like, you should tell me that like I don't fuck with you no more. Because when you like just stop talking to someone, you're just left with all these questions. And I know sometimes like hearing it hurts because it could not be true. You know, like this person could have seen you in like totally different light that you're like, that's not really me. So this hurts more, but it kind of helps to know what's going on in this person's head. Yeah. You know?
And I think you made me realize that once, because there was a friendship where so I'm not proud of this. I am not. Like, let the record show. I am not proud of my actions, but I am a ghoster. I have I have ghosted people in the past. And I mean, they knew it was kind of coming, because I tend to be like when there's certain events in your life that are super important, and you know you've made an effort to invite those people, and then they just don't show up. And they don't give you a reason for it, even though you were reaching out to them leading up to it. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And that was my last straw. Like, you didn't come through. I gave you multiple opportunities to let me know you weren't going to come through. I would have preferred.
They just ignored you?
They left me on red until after the event. So because of that, when they finally had gotten the guts to respond and explain what was going on, I just didn't want to hear it anymore.
Yes.
And it sucks because like I should have maybe heard that person out. But then I remember I had a conversation with you a while ago when we were talking about this, and the reason I ended up deciding to stick to the ghosting was in this particular situation was because when I started reflecting on why I wanted to just finally end the friendship was that when I was reflecting on the times when we were together, I was realizing that I wasn't liking the person I would turn into. And it wasn't that person per se. Like it was just my relationship to that person. We were toxic with one another. Not in like I hate you and stuff. It was just more like I was chaotic. I wouldn't sleep. Like I was doing
when you would kick it with this person because of their habits. That's true. It says that like what's that saying in Spanish?
Dime con quién te juntas y te diré no, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres.
Yep. I'm sure it's the same thing in English, but I heard it too many times in Spanish.
And I used to say that's not true, but like the older
it's true.
The more my brain develops.
We say it in English.
Oh yeah.
For English listeners, we love you.
For our English listeners, just tell me who you're hanging out with, and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And my mama used to always tell me that shit, and I was like, that's not true, because I used to kick it with all the desmadrosos, all the people, you know, doing up to no good. And as I started getting older, I started seeing all the actual shit they were getting into, and I was like, I'm not down. Like
when you get older and you realize your mom was right.
I'm sorry, ma.
I know, it hurts.
I know, and because I caught myself in a lot of questionable situations where I was like, if I would have listened to my mom, I wouldn't be here right now.
Dude, also like my parents never let me go to sleepovers.
Me neither. And I'm low-key,
I'm glad. No, after like finding out all the shit that happens, and I'm glad.
Si nos cuidaron bien.
Only my cousins.
Yeah. And
even then
it was in the house in Mexico where my grandparents live. So like everyone would sleep over at the grandparents' house.
That was the hub.
Todos los primos, all the cousins.
I mentioned a little bit about living in Mexico and like having the friends, but it's different when you're like in a rural area, because I think there was only like 3 girls in my class.
There's only so many people.
And it's like, well, I don't want to like be a loner, so yeah, like let's be friends, but also you're terrible to me.
Yeah, we were talking about this. We both had so many frenemies in Mexico when we were living in Mexico. My quinceañera was actually supposed to happen in Tijuana, and it didn't happen in Tijuana because a girl wanted to beat the shit out of me. And like she showed up to my parents' house in Tijuana multiple times. I just happened to be taking naps because your girl likes to nap.
Yeah, me too.
And my homeboys that were part of the block were there, and they're like, what are you doing? Why are you outside of her house? And they're like, oh, they're trying to beat her up. Okay, if you beat her up, we're gonna brawl. So like it was turning.
That's how you found out. Damn.
Yeah, it was turning into a whole thing, and my parents caught wind of it and were like, "No, van a desgreñar a Berenice aquí en la quinceañera cuando se hacen el vals."
So, hell no.
Yeah, my parents were concerned that they were gonna like pull my hair in the middle of the party.
Wait, so then you had your quinceañera where?
In our backyard here in Downey.
Oh, and you had friends?
Yeah, I'm a church girl too.
Oh, okay. Because me too. Like I had all my friends in Riverside, and then I had to move to Whittier, and then I had to have my quinceañera, and I had like 3 friends, and it was more like a family party, but I really wanted like my friends to be there. But I understand that like when you're at that age, you know, like no one wants to drive you far as fuck. So damn, those years are blurry to me, but whatever happened, we were just looking at the TV.
I just have recordings and stuff, but no, ours was full because my parents were like super, super, super involved in church, like hardcore, and to the point that most of my quinceañera got paid for by people from church.
Padrinos, and those padrinos come like, through.
And because a lot of them had like their own small businesses, so I had a jumper at my quinceañera for free,
sick
the DJ for free, las sillas y mesas free, like. Almost everything was actually donated. We put together my quinceañera in like 2 months. Okay. It was wild.
Were you actually 15?
Yeah.
I was 16.
It was my like I was actually
like on your birthday.
It wasn't on my birthday, but it was around there, like for sure. I didn't delay it because I know I had friends that also did that.
Yeah, I think I might have been like a month or 2 from being 16, but. Maybe we could have like a living in Mexico episode, because that shit was crazy.
Yeah, because we all had different experiences, but at the same time when we talk about it, it feels like we had a fucking the same one.
Yeah,
at the same
it's
time.
crazy.
Continuing on with relationships, the more as we get older into our 20s, more like we've become more experienced with romantic relationships. And I think as friends, we get a little bit more comfortable talking to one another about our relationships. And as we should. Like,
that's normal.
You should talk about it because it helps you process things. And I feel like that's when it starts to get complicated, because sometimes you don't know how close you are to a person or how honest a person wants you to be with them.
Yes. Especially when you're younger.
Yes. So, like, again, coming to the relationships is like, I remember noticing that some of my friends had toxic ass boyfriends.
Yeah.
And I like wanted to
especially
tell them.
If you took psychology. Do you remember the first time I took psychology in college? I was like, what? Everyone is fucked up.
We're just doing the
None
best
of this is normal or healthy. Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no. And it's hard because some friendships actually get stronger when you're honest with them, because that's what they want to hear. And again, the values are aligning. And then other friendships, they probably won't take it so well.
Yeah.
And they'll be in denial. And I think that might also just be on them as a person.
Because they're not ready to change. And like, they're not ready to accept something bad, you know, when they think that this is their world and everything. Also, that first love is so crazy, bro. Like, down bad.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. But what does hurt is also remembering some of those friendships that got lost because I decided to be honest.
Yes.
And tell my friends what I was feeling or like the concerns I had. I may have at the time, like now looking back at it, I may have not used the right words.
Me as fuck.
But it had to be said because I was seeing it. And like when I see any of my friends like that I care about going through something and they can be avoided, it's literally the only reason it's not being avoided is because you keep going back to that toxic person. It's hurting me too.
Especially when they're complaining about it.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, like my man's did XYZ. And it's like, girl, that's not normal. That is not healthy. That's borderline abusive. I don't know if this is benefiting you, because you want to have people in your life that make you better, that bring you like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. That make your life better, basically.
Yeah, then improve your quality of life.
That one.
Yes, you want those relationships, and again, whether it be friendship or a romantic relationship, you want both of them to be improving the quality of life. And if you're coming to a friend with your relationship issues and your friendship or your friend offers you advice that might be telling you, you know what, that guy's not right for you, throw the whole man away. When you've established a relationship with the friendship on a friendship level like that, and there's that trust, I think there's a lot of weight in the words that my friends tell me. Like if my friends were to tell me that personally, I would listen to it a lot more. Like it would make me think a lot more. Because the reason I say this is whenever I'm able, or I specifically personally, whenever I come out and tell people some of these things openly to my friends when I'm having these discussions, I've already had this discussion with myself like 20 times in my head. A lot of these thoughts have already brewed up in my head. Like, right?
When you're coming to your friend about your relationship?
Yeah, for advice.
Okay.
For advice. Like, so if I'm telling you something, it's because I want you to give me feedback.
Yes.
At least with me personally.
Because, you have been thinking about it. You're like, I don't know, I kind of need like a second opinion.
And so I've had it in the past where, because that's how I process it, I assume other people process it the same way. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're telling me because you're expecting feedback. Let me give you some feedback. And then that feedback blows up in your face. And you're like,
that's not what I wanted to hear, boo.
Be
delusional with me.
I'll
give you the option. You want me to be delusional, or you want me to tell you what I really think?
Eso. I started giving people the option before. I was more like, no, like.
Well, this is how I see it. And none of your friends like him. And you're always sad. You lost the glow. You lost your soul. The sparkle in your eye is gone, girl. Bring it back.
So So how would you go about telling them? Like, now that you're older, now that you're wiser, now that you are more cautious with your words and you understand the weight that they can carry, if you were to see one of your close friends in a toxic romantic relationship, how would you approach it this time around? Say you get a do-over.
Girl, sit your ass down.
A ver, dime. Cuéntame.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's like, what are the symptoms? You know, like, what am I noticing? I would just be like, okay, like, for example, if I notice that, like, I have a friend and they're in a toxic relationship and they used to love, like, painting and that was their thing. And then all of a sudden, because they're so engulfed in this relationship, they stop painting. It's like, hey, girl, like, you're not painting anymore? What's going on? Oh, you know, just life. And it's like, oh, well, like, I hope to see it soon because, you know, like, I would notice how happy you were when you were painting, how proud you were, like, how you were just like, oh my God, I really love this. Let's bring it back, you know? But I feel like the number one sign of, like, when a relationship is getting like a little bit toxic is that you stop seeing them. Like, that's a sign that, like, the partner
They're
will
being pulled away from their
they're
friends.
being pulled away from their friends, their family, and everything. And it's like, you want to reach out, even though it kind of sucks because you're like, they're my friend and they're not reaching out to me. You know, I want it to be equal. But if you realize and you're like, the brain development, you're like, okay, this might be happening. Keep reaching out, keep trying to, like, take them out. And then, like, slowly they'll be like, if they have a really good day with you, we kick it, we go skate or something. It's like, hey, I really like this. I needed this, you know, let's do it again. Okay. And if you really like them, you're going to keep putting in the effort to, like, kind of take them out.
Okay, so that is a really great way to start in terms of getting them out, to, like, pulling them out and, like, kind of getting them back into the groove of their things. But I mean, if you keep trying to pull them out, you still, like, they're still experiencing all that negative energy over there. Now that you're older, and that you've developed, would you still go out of your way to let them know that that man is shitty? Or this
Yes.
time would you just focus more on supporting them as a person?
Because it depends too. Like, if you, like, are stuck with the person, I don't know. Because, like, I have told one of my friends, like, girl, you're losing your glow, you know? And he's, like, sucking the life out of you. But sometimes they're actually, like, doing fun or having fun and you can see it, but you're also, like, don't see them. But yeah, I would just be like, I don't know, dude, like, I know you love him, but I see you. I see the potential that you have, and I know that you can do better, especially if he's not treating you how you want to be treated. You know, most of the time, if, like, there was someone toxic, they'll be saying it and just be like, I'm here for you whenever you, like, want to leave, or if you just want to, like, kiki, like, but, like, that person is going to be with that person until they have had their last straw.
Yep.
And you just want to be there for them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, in deep down in your gut, you're like, this is not 100%. But they also, like, love me and, like, cuddle me and, like, keep me warm at night.
We
and
know.
We know.
We know. We just like to lie to ourselves.
Exactly.
I like to be delulu.
But also, once your friends tell you, you're kind of like, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because they're like, oh, you see it too?
You see it too?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Then it's a little bit worse than I thought it was.
When their mask starts slipping, like.
That's also really valid.
Yeah.
Because I think now, this time, like, at this point in time, I've learned that I don't want to talk shit on their man, right? Like, I don't want to, because exactly what you said.
I'm open to it, though. If they start talking shit, I will.
You'll join in. For me, no, I will always, not always, sometimes I join in, but I try my best to plead the fifth in these kinds of situations. Yes. Because these bitches keep going back to them. And I love these.
And I get it.
And, like,
I've been there, done that, like Pitbull said.
It happens. Like, we be repeating patterns, and that's fine. But I've seen it happen so many times where, like, I don't want to join in on the trash talking on this guy, and then end up seeing you 2 weeks from now, and I have to hang out. And I know for a fact that she told your ass all the shit I was talking about you.
That's true.
Because it happens. It happens.
That's
I don't
true.
like it, but it's the reality of it. It be like that. So I won't, now that I'm older, I won't join in on the shit talking, because in the past I have. I'm like, yeah, man, fuck that guy. Now it's more like I try to focus on my friend and nurturing them and being like, I'm here for you. Yeah, I'm here for you. I noticed that the person you were becoming when you were with him wasn't a person you seem to be okay with. Like, then let's get you back to the person you want to be. Let's focus on you. Because that's all you can really do as a friend.
You do have to like tread lightly, because sometimes if they really don't want to hear it, then they will be like, or if they do tell their man, then the man's like, she's against us and our love. Yes. Now I'm taking you away and you're never going to see her. Yes. So you do have to tread lightly. Yeah. But it's also like, But be honest. And it's a tricky situation.
Because again, you can be honest with where you're focusing your honesty. Like, focus it on your friend. Don't focus it on the man. Yes. Like, that's the...
Remind them of all the good things, good qualities that they have.
Of how amazing your friends are. Don't focus on the negative aspect, because most of us know, like, again, if you're in a toxic romantic relationship, you kind of know at the bottom of your heart, you're in denial. So sometimes you need to be reminded of how awesome you are, because a lot of those times those toxic relationships break you down. So if you have someone else building you up on the outside, that might be the buildup you need to build up that courage to leave that person behind. Yes. So that would be my biggest advice, is like, and in terms of like, when you see a friend going through a toxic romantic relationship, would be like, focus on building them up. Because, when you do join in on the shit talking, it could brew up to a really nasty friendship breakup because of that. Because we sometimes like to go back to those toxic romantic patterns.
Sometimes it's really like in your subconscious. Yeah. And you're like, I know I deserve better, but the parasites in me, the demons, they want this, man.
It's true. You're like, I know I should know better, but like, maybe this was different.
Hey, been there, done that. Been there, done that. Messed around.
Don't put me down. I'll never let you sweep me off my feet.
This time, baby,
I'll be
bulletproof.
And then so as your frontal cortex is developing, yes, you can also start identifying the good men your friends find.
That's true.
Which I also have really liked.
That's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man.
I love that, because I've noticed that in like recent times, I see that some of my friends that were single and they get into relationships, and I notice the little things here and there that their partner will do for them, and I'm like, ooh, girl,
good things.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm like, ooh, girl, keep him, and I'll make sure to point that out.
Yes.
So
it's important too, because when you see like your friend like being genuinely happy in their relationship, talking about, oh, my man did this and this, then you can like spot those qualities and be like, I want one like that. Yes. Yeah. And that happened to me recently, actually. I was like dating this guy, and then something happened, and the first thing I was all like, my friend's madam would never do this. Like, he would never do this. And she would tell me like, girl, this is a bare minimum, And now that I know that and I see it, you want to surround yourself with like healthy examples too, which is why like pick your friends and like make sure they're good and whatever, because then you kind of like evolve to that. It's like a good example to have. So
that's so true. That is so true. Bringing it back to friends and friendship breakups and all that, like, you want to break up with the friends that are not serving you. And I hate to use that word, serving, because it's like, it feels so transactional. Yes. But I'm not saying that you're just serving me. If someone is serving me, that means I'm willing to serve them right back in my book, right? Yeah. But so just having those friendships that are actually gonna serve you in those ways, where they're actual positive examples of what you want to be. Or where you want to be. Yes. Because you're like, oh shit, this is attainable. This is totally possible. And you're seeing how it's done. Instead of it just being an idea, something abstract, because all the people around you are like in toxic ass relationships. Yeah. So that, like, moral of the story is like, you really got to know when to let that friendship go. as much as it hurts.
Yeah.
Whether you want to be honest with them as towards why you're letting them go.
Exactly. You really need to think about like, okay, even if it's someone that, again, like in your head, you don't really care about them, but be like, if there was someone that I really cared about, would I want them to be upfront with me and tell me that like, I don't fuck with you no more, or just ghost?
And now after talking to you about it, I realize that I know I need to be better about not ghosting my friends and actually giving them a reason for it.
Yeah.
As much as it'll suck, because I might be a little too honest and it'll be cutting a little too deep, I'll choose my words.
Sometimes people need to hear it though.
Yeah, I'll choose my words.
Because I've had people tell me like, you really made me feel like shit, and I feel like shit, as I should.
You need to
as
hear
I
it.
should. I needed to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also do believe in like reconciliation. How do we say that?
Reconciliation.
That one?
I also believe in reconciliation. People can grow.
People can grow.
People change.
I'll do like one example from me. I had this friend, and she was a lot younger than me, and basically I had another friend who was low-key a snake, but she was the one that was like telling me like, oh, this friend is like not that good, like they've been talking shit about you and all this stuff, like I don't think blah blah blah. And to me, since I had known that friend longer, I sided with her like just right away, just like blinded loyalty, you know what I mean? And I ended up cutting off this other girl because and I told her, I was like, hey, like I don't appreciate this, that you're like talking about me and all this stuff. I think we can't be friends anymore, okay? And then she was really hurt. And I felt bad. And then with that other girl, the snake one, did me dirty. I was like, oh wait, actually I think it was her the whole time. And it was her because she did show me through actions that she didn't really give a fuck about me. So then I was just like, wow, like I blindly listened to what she had to say about this other girl, and I felt so bad that I reached out to her, the young one. And I was like, look, I know I made you feel really bad. I'm just really sorry. And I did this in a phone call. I always think that that's kind of better than texting, yes, so you can get the tone.
Yes.
I had like an hour conversation with her, and I was like, you were young. I shouldn't have done that. I'm really sorry. I wish you the best. And just being like, I know how much that hurt you, and I feel hurt because I feel bad. Like when you hurt someone, it feels bad, you know?
Yeah, if you're not an awful human being.
And I feel like if someone came to me like that, being like, I really feel sorry, like I really want to apologize, then I would be like, okay.
You just triggered a memory in me. Damn.
Call me the trigger monster.
This one time that was very deep in my subconscious that I wanted to put away.
Gotcha.
They ghosted me, and I remember feeling awful at that time because I thought we were really good friends.
Yes.
But this was also at the end of high school, beginning of college. So a lot of people were kind of like, we're moving, we're new people, whatever. So like, I tried my best not to take it personal, but dude, that shit hurts so bad.
Yes.
And way later, they ended up reaching out to me and kind of apologizing and like,
I love that,
apologizing for like cutting me out the way they did. And they kind of explained that they were going through a really rough time. And then later I found out that like they were going through like a mild identity crisis, like where they weren't really sure about their sexuality. Ooh. And this person had grown up in a really conservative household. So like all of this was happening during that time. And so like they just pushed me away because I guess I got too close for them to where they were probably going to be more open about all that. And so it was really nice to hear that it wasn't anything in particular that I did, that I wasn't an actual bad friend. It was more like they were just going through some really rough shit, and they thought that pulling away from all these people would be the best thing. And once their frontal cortex developed, and they're like, oh, I fucked up.
Actually,
let me go apologize. It happens. It really does. So like, that goes to show that friendship breakups aren't always permanent. And
that's true.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a bad thing, because people grow. People can grow out of their toxic behaviors, out of their toxic patterns. And if they are willing to grow that way, I don't see why not letting them back into your life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Also, like, recently I had a friend ghost me. I reached out to them because I reached out to them twice, and I kind of have an idea of why. And again, it's crazy because this person is younger. So in my head, I'm like, okay, they're young. I get it. And again, when you're older, you're going to be like, okay, whatever. And they kind of did that same thing of like choosing sides with like a friend. But to me, like, even though it hurt me like a lot because I thought we were closer, I thought we were cool. And then for me to like, me being the older person too, I was like, hey, like this could have been like a communication mix up. Mm-hmm. What's going on? I still want to be your friend. Like, let's talk about this. And then like just being ghosted. It hurt me a lot, but I just have to like, you just have to let people be. I know.
Yeah.
No, because like we've been through a lot, and I thought we were close, and like I would like save a day out of my week to kick it with this person. Like, that's how you know. I feel like when someone gives you like the time, like time is our most valuable resource. Yes. So when someone's giving you time, you know, it means that they fucking care.
They care about you. They value you.
Yeah. So when like that wasn't reciprocated, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna beg someone to, because when you're ready to talk about it, then you'll be ready to talk about it. And I'll listen. I'll listen, but I might not go back. Like, it's never gonna go back to the way it was, because you made your choice, and I saw that, and I saw that I wasn't a priority, like how I was making you a priority. So that's cool.
So what we're saying is, if you've ghosted us recently and you want to talk about it later, come on. We're right. Like, come on ahead.
I'll listen.
We'll listen. We're willing to have
like,
the conversation.
as a human, I get it. Things happen.
Yeah.
And I do think it's I more of the story. I think it's good to talk about it, because that way you can say what you want, and then there's no like weirdness, you know, because a lot of the time, like, if we were friends, we probably have like similar friends, and I might see you in public, and I just want to be like, you know, cool. I see you as a human. You're here. You didn't choose to be born. I didn't choose to be born. We're all sharing like this timeline, this space. Cool. But I'm not going to be like up your ass and like hee ha ha. That's saved for my bestie Westies that actually make time for me and don't ghost me.
That are also all up in your ass.
Yes.
You know, again, we reciprocate here. But I think you made a really valid point, and like that we should talk about it, but I really want to add that we should talk about it when we're ready to talk about it. Because, girl, there are some times where, like, again, when I told you I was being that bad friend, and then my friend came to me and like she was the bigger person, had we actually talked it out when shit was on fire,
nothing would have came
I
out
would
of it.
have said the meanest, nastiest things that I could have never been able to take back. And I know that for a fact, because that's how I was feeling at the time. And when you're just filled with blind rage, you don't know what you're truly saying, but the other person is going to hear those words, and they're going to feel them, and they're going to remember how they felt.
That's true.
So that goes to say, for me, like, yes, it is extremely important to talk it out, but not with a heated head.
Or even if you are heated, just be like, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Not right now, but like, we will talk about it. We'll make sure to make time for it once we've calmed down and have thought it out, like pondered on it.
And sometimes it'll take months.
And that's okay.
And then it is okay. And then you have to be like, okay, do I still want to hear him out? Yes or no? Because you also have that choice.
Yes.
But I think now, and I know that communication is so scary before that brain is ready. Because of how I grew up, I hated being confrontational, which is why a lot of like, if you guys know, like me, like on my YouTube days, I had like hella roommates, and it was all fun, hee hee ha ha, until it came to communication. And sometimes I was not the best of it, and then problems would arise. So like, I get it. But just, you know, like, advocate for yourself. You are worthy, like.
But don't be an asshole while you're advocating for yourself too.
Don't be a bitch.
Like, yes, there's ways to do it. Advocate for yourself. Yeah. But yeah, don't be a dick. That's it. Don't be a dick.
You know, and then the law. There's like the 4 laws or the 4 agreements.
Oh,
You know that book?
I do know that book. I have it.
Yeah, me too. Everyone should get it. one of the laws or the agreements is don't take anything personally. And sadly,
It's not that deep.
it's not that serious, guys.
It is, but like it also isn't.
Yeah. And then, things happen for a reason. The people that are meant to be in your life will be. Don't trip out. If you are sad about it, write it in a journal. Don't go around the internet. I used to do that.
Yeah, no, right. No, seriously.
Get that journal out.
Okay, no, last piece of advice, and that is such great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Write your thoughts down on a journal, because if you're feeling a type of way about a person, write it down, and then if you come back a few months later and you're noticing that pattern in your writing, it's a lot easier to notice these negative things, and will help.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll have the data right in front of you.
Yes.
And the data don't lie. It's a lot harder to lie to yourself when you have the truth in writing right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and if your handwriting sucks, type it out. I did that.
Your notes app.
Mm-hmm.
I like to
typing
write
on a keyboard.
I
feel like a successful author. I'm like,
I have it on my iPad.
iPad kid.
I'm an iPad kid till the day I die. Even though we were too poor for me to be an iPad kid.
One of my favorite sayings that's like, if you want to be successful, or like people are like, what is the key? It's like fail faster.
Yes.
Fail faster so you can get
what doesn't work.
And you can get to where you want to be.
Exactly.
And that includes with friendships and the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So if you're someone that you weren't meant to be with,
it's
gonna go, and you're gonna be
no
one friend closer to your bestie westies for life that are gonna be there for you when you're
all viejitas and wrinkled
when
together.
You're viejitas chismeando con el cafecito
con piquete
with their kids running around, not mine. I don't know about that. We'll see.
Time will tell. Thank you for tuning in, y'all. We love that you guys are actually watching us and listening to us and giving us feedback.
Yes.
Please keep that up. I really want to know what you're thinking, what you want to hear.
Leave the comments on the YouTube video, because you can leave comments there too. So
yes. Tell
us if you have experienced friendship breakups. How did it feel? Did it get better with age? Or if you're younger, just it's gonna happen. We're here for you. We get it. Let us know all your feedback that you want.
It's part of life. And if you want a new friend, we are also open to making new friends. Just hit us up.
Where can we find you?
You can find me on the gram. My IG is Vere se mueve. I guess you can find me on TikTok too.
Yes.
I'm also
find her on TikTok.
I'm also Vere se mueve on TikTok. And you can find me on this podcast, both on Spotify and on YouTube.
Woo.
Where can we find you, Karen?
I am Karen the Carrot with a K on all socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and here on the on the Vibrant Moves channel, because I be commenting back y todo.
Yeah, she's really good. I'm working on it.
So yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.